Welcome to another episode of A Servant's Heart podcast, where you will hear about women loving others through service, fun times, helping others, and opportunities to join us ladies of the Statesville Women's Club to also be a servant with heart.
Welcome to another episode of A Servant's Heart. Today, Dana is going to be starting off the podcast with an interview of Blake Blakely from the YMCA. She's executive director, and they're going to be talking about the Bridge Academy.
Right. We are going to talk about the Bridge Academy and the relationship between the Women's Club, Statesville Women's Club, and the YMCA. Hi, Blake. This is Blake Blakely from the YMCA. She is their executive director, and we are going to be talking about some things that are happening at the Y and a little bit about some things how that ties into the Women's Club, and we are doing our Women Making a Difference segment.
Great. Wonderful. Thanks, Dana. Thanks for having me. This has kind of been our first year with the Statesville Y and the Women's Club getting together to do some partnership stuff. So it's working out great. Been a lot of fun. So
it has been a lot of fun. I went on the Bright Beginnings trip, and another woman from the Women's Club joined me, and we had a blast shopping for those children. And why don't you tell everybody what that is, since I brought it up?
Sure. So our Bright Beginnings Club is a back-to-school shopping event that we take. Our goal is to take anywhere from 85 to 100 kids shopping. And so what we do is our fundraiser that we do all year, our goal this year was to raise $140,000 to put back into the community, all back into the community. That doesn't count for, occupancy costs or salary costs or anything like that. It's straight, dollars that we raise from our community, donors, individuals, companies, that sort of thing, where we're able to do outreach to just looking to help fill the need within our communities. And so the Bright Beginnings event is one of those. And so we took, this year we were able to take 78 kids on the Saturday before they started school, back to school shopping. We provided them with a pair of name brand tennis shoes, backpack full of school supplies, hygiene products, and then we recruited volunteers to take the kids individually shopping. We went to the Walmart shopping plaza. We team up with Great Clips where they get a haircut as well if they like. And the volunteer gets to actually shop with the student. We give each volunteer shopper a gift card. Had $110 on it. And so our request to the volunteer was just shop for clothes, undergarments, socks, that sort of thing. So we get the list of names from the school system because they know the kids that are in need. We don't necessarily. So they send us those names, and we contact those parents and get it lined up, and it turns out to be a great event.
It was one of the most fun projects I have ever done.
Wonderful.
And I had the coolest. I was paired up with two sisters, and we just had a blast. And of course, if one sister got something, well, I think I might like that
That's
too.
right.
So that was kind of fun watching them partner.
It is. It's a lot of fun. And, we try our best to really pair up male to male, female to female. And a lot of these kids don't necessarily have full structure in their life. They could be any type of living situation. We don't necessarily know, but we do know that they're in need. What kid doesn't want to start back to school? Fresh new clothes, new school supplies, a cool backpack, new tennis shoes. I mean, I think about that when I was growing up, and that was one of the favorite times is when my folks would take me shopping. And so that's kind of the experience that we wanted to give these kids. We have recognized in the past where a lot of it's hand-me-downs or Goodwill clothes. And, kids have it hard enough these days in school. So let's set them up on a good note.
Yes, I get chills just thinking back to that day. But I can tell by listening to you how excited that this program makes you. But this is part of a bigger program.
It is.
Tell us about bigger initiative?
So we have what is called Bridge Academy program, and it's serving students that are living in what they're McKinney-Vento students titled in the school system, and that definition means they don't have a permanent residence. So they could be living with a neighbor, grandparent, or out of their car, in a hotel, at a campsite. We don't know their living situation, but they don't have a permanent address. And so what started off from what we used to do, a summer learning academy, where during the summer we would target kids that were moving into the higher grades, 6th grade, moving into 5th, 6th grade, and help them get on track that were behind grade level or just at, to kind of approach that summer learning loss.
Right.
We did that for about 4 years. Well, we kept trying to work with the group. How can we grow it? How can we? So it's really turned into a year-long program where we are targeting right now kids, elementary school kids that are living in hotels. Because we've got about 7 to 10 hotels within probably a 5 to 7 mile radius of the Y. We pick these kids up during the summer, bring them to summer camp, take them home in the evening. That way we know that they get a full day of camp plus 3 square meals and snacks. They learn how to swim. Then during the school year, we pick them up from whatever school they're at, bring them back to the Y, and then take them home in the evenings. So been real successful with that. We've been very fortunate enough to raise enough monies to support 30 students. That's just kind of scraping the tip of the iceberg. Just talking with the school system already this year, they've got over 200 McKinney-Vento students, and we're in week 3 of school start. They ended last year with 336 McKinney-Vento students, so we know there's more to come. My ultimate goal would be that we can find some way to help support all of these kids, ultimately. And so it's a very rewarding project that we're doing, a program that, again, you can see the impact you make on a daily basis. We don't always know the situation of these kids. We've got some that may have 1 hotel room, and there could be as many as 5 or 6 in a family.
Right.
So it's tough. But, our goal is to provide some stabilization. When we bring the kids in, our full paying kids don't know who's McKinney-Vento, and our McKinney-Vento kids don't know who's full paying. That's the cool part of this project. You can walk in any day at the Y after school or summer camp program, and it's kids being kids playing together. And so it's just, our goal is in 10, 15 years when these kids look back on their life and realize that, man, I was living in a hotel, but gosh, I got to go to the Y every single day. And it was such a blast. I made so many friends. I learned how to swim. I got to go to Camp Haynes and spend a weekend. We just finished that up. Last weekend we took about 20 of our kids and about 12 of the Boys and Girls Club kids with us and spent a weekend up at Camp Haynes. We picked them up after school. We made it up there. That's in Stokes County. So we made it up there by dinner time. We had dinner. They got to night swim, which was really cool.
I bet they loved
that. Was really
that.
cool. And then the Saturday was filled with alpine climbing. They did some archery. They had the big water slide. They did zip line, And then on Sunday, we any parents that wanted to go up and see where the kids were, we invited them for lunch. And so we took a bus load up of parents, and they got to see, and they had a blast. And that's probably the favorite part that the kids love is Camp Haynes. I get asked just about every day that I see the kids, when are we going back to Camp Haynes? When are we going back to Camp Haynes? So I'm like, you got to wait a year. It'll be next August, but that is a very rewarding program for them. But and then in talking with that, we mentioned Bright Beginnings again. Every Bridge Academy student automatically rotates into Bright Beginnings. So that's kind of how that all works out. But it's such a rewarding program. and just to hear the kids talk about it.
Well, it sounds like you have a lot of partnerships too.
Most definitely a lot of partnerships. We couldn't do it alone. School system, is right up there. We actually kicked off this whole initiative with the Summer Learning Academy with our United Way funding. We are a United Way agency, and I give them full credit over the years of support that they've had with us or for us. That's kind of our seed money to get the program up and going each year, and then we build on that. So kind of like working with the Women's Club, we look for partnerships every day, because it takes partnerships.
Right.
I mentioned the Boys and Girls Club. We've worked, we've really gotten a close partnership with them where we do a lot of things together, and it kind of, look at our Statesville Iredell County community as, we've all got to help each other. It doesn't matter who gets full credit for what.
Right.
It's just at the end of the day, we're doing the right thing.
That's exactly right. And like the program, the Bright Beginnings and the Bridge Academy, when we presented that to our membership as an option to participate with, hands down,
Exactly.
that was the program that the club wanted to support.
Yeah, and I will give a special shout out to one of your members, that Sandra Landry.
Yep.
She actually helped us our first year coming out of COVID get back on track during the summer with the tutoring part, and such great experience there and what she brings, and we really want to build on that going forward each year. But and that's kind of, I think, where we got our foot in the door with our partnership.
It
and
is.
she came back and was telling you guys about what a great time she had. So yeah, she's wonderful. And she is actually on our board,
Yes,
at our local board at the Y. So
She's on our board and she's on your board, so it just kind of made a nice little tie.
that's right.
And you've told us about services and activities, and you've told us about your favorite services and activities. Is there anything else that you need to tell us or would like to tell us about the Bridge Academy, particularly how it relates to the Women's Club?
So I think, where we will be able to build on the Women's Club is there is so much expertise within your group, and, so much, passion and history of what y'all are able to bring to the table. I think, we'll be able to build on kind of our tutoring program moving forward,
Right.
Which is beyond just a reading program. In talking with the school system, of course, reading is high on their need list, but so is math and science. And so those are always their top 3 categories that they ask us to help with. The good thing about the Bridge Academy is we have a close relationship with each school counselor, social worker, as well as their teachers. So the teachers are able to, when they get behind, because you can imagine, some of the living situations they're in, there's probably not a whole lot of time to spend on homework.
Right.
They're just trying to make sure the kids are getting to school, and
right.
then getting home, and then getting their baths and that sort of thing. So, any way we can help out, that's what we want to do. We just want to be there for them, without, taking away anything from their family part. The other good thing about the Bridge Academy is we give each family a household membership. As long as they're in the Bridge Academy, we encourage them to come over on the weekends, go swimming with your kids, play out on the playground, that sort of thing. So it's more about them being able to spend the quality time, not the time that, they're worried about bills and how they're going to make the next rent payment and how their kids are going to get clothes for school, that sort of. We want them to have time to enjoy each other.
Well, this program has really touched my heart.
Great.
What would you say is the greatest gift that the Bridge Academy has given to you?
For me personally, and again, selfishly, I get to see it hands-on each day. And so this is one, even in my role, building in the community, making connections, this is an easy program for me to talk about. My passion is definitely with this. It's part of why I became started at the Y years ago, is servant leadership. I want to, there's a need, so let's figure out how to help fill the void. And it's not, about one person. It's not about a group of people. It's not about one Y. It's about everybody in our community coming together to help our kids have a successful future. So, I really get a chance, with this program to know the kids. And there's no secrets a lot of times. You find out stuff you may want to know and stuff you may not want to know. But the kids, are so resilient. You wouldn't know, as an adult, thinking of some of the situations they're in and how the parents are really, really trying. They just can't get a leg up. It's just, they'll have one step forward and two steps knocked back. Right. But the kids just roll with the flow, and they're happy. They're glad to see their friends when they get after school, and just that's the part of it that I love about this program is again one, you could have a millionaire in there with someone that doesn't know where their next meal is going to come from. You'll never know the difference. So they treat each other the same.
Well, that is so amazing. And I think that we're going to wrap up for today. We really appreciate you coming on our podcast, A Servant's Heart, and sharing the information, particularly about the Bridge Academy, which the proceeds from the Bridge Academy, half of the proceeds after our profits, I can't even talk, after the bills have been paid, will go to the Bridge Academy, and we're hoping that will be a sizable amount.
That's awesome. That's wonderful.
Enough that maybe you could even sponsor 2 more children. That's my goal.
That's always our goal.
That's my goal, is to get 2 more children in there.
That's wonderful. Yeah, and just a little plug, we will be having in December our kickoff banquet for next year. So we're going to talk about the Bridge Academy, where it will actually be our fundraising event. So you'll be getting more news about that, and as well as invitations, and love for as many people from the community to come out and just hear about the program.
And you'll just have to bring a crowd over to Taste of IREDELL.
Sure will. We definitely will.
Well, we really appreciate you coming.
Thanks, Dana.
This morning.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Blake.
So today, I'm really excited about joining us for a member moment is Roxie Kennedy, also known as Roxie. And oh my gosh, thanks for coming and joining us.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So, Roxanne, I know you're kind of a newer member. What year did you join?
Let's see. I think it was 2021, I believe. I think that's when I joined the Women's Club.
Got a couple years under your belt.
Yeah.
So, at one point I had talked to the membership about our motivation. I call it the big why, in real estate. We're both realtors. That is something that kind of comes up, is your big why for getting into that industry. Yeah. So my question is, what's your big why for joining the Statesville Women's Club?
I would say, so being in the Air Force for 7 years, I feel like I was practically raised by the Air Force. So you're kind of raised with this servant mindset. Awesome. So when you get out of active duty, you kind of feel the transition, like going from that to civilian life it's not the easiest transition. So I think I was just looking for a group that I felt I belonged to and like had a servant mindset and like wanted to do things for the community and had strong women in it. I wanted to be surrounded by that because I think that you should always surround yourself with people that you aspire to be. So I feel like the Statesville Women's Club was like the perfect fit for that. It's people that want to serve the community. It's strong women, empowered women, and I think they're doing a lot of great things for the community.
Great.
Yeah.
So you're a realtor and an Air Force medic. Now, you are with the National Guard, through the National Guard?
Yes.
Well, tell us a little bit more about that. I'm really interested.
So as far as the real estate career, I've loved it. It was definitely something, stepping outside of my comfort zone, being a medic in the Air Force. I'm actually making a transition. I'm going into physical therapy now.
Really? Okay.
So that's what I'm in school for.
Nice.
As far as the Air National Guard,
once again, it was just another way for me to continue to serve, but still have time to have a career and go to school. And it's going from full-time to part-time military. So I feel like it's been a good way for me to kind of get that feel of like serving my community and like serving my country, but also getting to experience kind of like the civilian life that I was missing out on.
Right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned pre-show that you were perhaps being deployed soon. So
Yes.
what is that going to be like?
So it'll be this fall. It'll be my first deployment with the military. So I'm a little nervous about it. Obviously, I can't disclose all the details of it on here, but it'll be for 6 months, and it'll be just another experience for me, another way I can experience another culture, and I enjoy serving. So anything that I can do, anytime the mission calls, I love to serve.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. And they're pretty lucky to have you, because talk about empowered. You,
Thank you.
are probably one of the most empowered young ladies that I know.
Thank you.
So what would you say is one of your secret superpowers? Because I think you have one or two.
I would say if I had to list one superpower, it would be consistency. I'm very consistent. I'm also a competitive power lifter. So I feel like through that sport, I've just learned to see long-term results instead of short-term. I feel like when I was younger, I always just looked for like short-term, like instant gratification type things. I feel like through powerlifting and through the military, it opens your mindset to see more of like long-term results.
Right.
So I would say definitely I've learned the power of consistency. I feel like the person that always wins is not necessarily the strongest or the smartest, but they're always the most consistent. So I would say that's my superpower.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so do you credit the time in the military for helping you develop that superpower, or?
I would say being in the military and then competing in a sport.
Yes.
Those two things have definitely taught me that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, powerlifting. So how often do you have to train for that? Is that a daily thing, or?
So I train 5 days a week, so I give myself 2 days off. But it's pretty extensive training, so it's you really look forward to those rest days. So actually, this month will be my first national competition. So I'll be
Great.
Yeah, so I'll be going to Memphis, Tennessee on the 13th to compete at USA Powerlifting Nationals. So it'll be like televised and everything. So that'll be my first like big experience with powerlifting. So I'm looking
Right.
forward to that. I'm obviously very nervous about it, but
Sure.
It'll
Well,
be
it
good.
sounds like you're going to prepare just in the right kind of way to show up and do really well.
definitely.
And it's
it goes
always
back
about
to consistency.
right? And it's
Yes.
always about personal best, right?
Yes.
Rather than being the best.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
You have to you can't ever compare yourself to other people, because there could be people there that have been doing it for 10 years. and
Exactly.
you've only been doing it for a couple of years. So that's also something that I've learned is to just not compare myself to other people. Just always kind of look at where were you last year and where are you this year? Because I think comparing yourself to other people is the thief of joy. So I think it should always just be,
I like it.
Yeah.
Comparing yourself to people is the thief
of joy.
of joy.
Yeah, and I try to live by that.
I like it. So obviously you want to make a difference in the world. It looks like you already have. And last year you put together a very successful blood drive at the clubhouse. It was kind of a one-woman show almost, if it weren't for your mother and your sister.
I had
and,
a lot to help.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of the members came forward and helped.
Okay, good. So given the opportunity to pick a project again, what would be a project that's really meaningful to you?
So obviously, helping veterans is close to home for me. So we have a lot of veterans that are homeless and are not being taken care of, after sacrificing their life for their country. So I think any program to where we can give back to our veterans and give them what they deserve for giving up so much time and sacrifice for their country. So that's definitely my biggest passion as far as projects go.
Cool. So, maybe since you're young, and I remember being young, it's been a while ago, but when I was younger, I tended to have personal goals. So my question is, what would be a 5-year goal for you?
So in 5 years, so right now I'm in school to be a physical therapist assistant. So obviously I would like to have accomplished that. And then it's always been a dream of mine to have a doctorate degree. So
Nice.
I really hope to be working on that and close to that in 5 years. So I'd like to have a doctorate, and I would like to be in a position to where I can just help other people with my passion.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So you're one of the youngest members, and you are an inspiration to all of us.
Thank you.
I'm not sure that a lot of us really know you that well, and that was another reason why I wanted to have you on the show, and just to kind of really get to know you and your heart. So what advice would you give the Statesville Women's Club to attract younger, empowered people, women like yourself, to make a difference with us in the community?
Well, for one, I think this podcast that you guys are doing, I think that's a really big step in the right direction, because I feel like it's a very modern step for the Statesville Women's Club. I feel like a lot of the struggle with some of these clubs is kind of like modernizing to like the techie world, because I feel like everything's kind of going towards that way. So I feel like to attract a younger crowd, you really need to figure out like, what are they listening to now? Like, what are they looking at? So I feel like we're kind of making the right steps in that direction to kind of speak to that younger crowd. So like, I feel like social media is a big thing, podcasts, anything like that, where you're going to be able to actually reach the younger viewer. So, because I feel like a lot of younger viewers, they're not going to, pick up like a paper newsletter and like, seek it out in those ways. So, one, I mean, I feel like that's a great step. And then two, I just feel like all the projects that we're doing, just getting ourselves out there, visible in the community. So if like, if young women can see the difference that we're making and see that like they could be a part of that too, I feel like that's also like a great way. So I feel like we're doing all the right things and moving in the right direction for that. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Roxie, thank you so much for joining me today. And it's great getting to know Roxanne Kennedy and all of the things that you're into. And I wish you well on your deployment. We'll miss you, and we'll be thinking and praying for you while you're gone.
Thank you.
And let the Women's Club members know if there's anything that you need, care packages, sent, that sort of thing. We would love to do that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
We'll see you again soon.
All right. Thank you.
So today, for Federation Focus, we're going to be talking about our capital campaign. And Dana, we're into our second year, right?
It is our second year. This is our second year of the program. I want to call it a program. It's really a capital campaign where we're raising money to revitalize and refurbish the grand old lady, as we like to call her, which is our clubhouse, of course.
Right. And hey, y'all, she's getting a new roof.
Yes, thank goodness.
Yeah, I think that's this week.
It is this week. It should be finished tomorrow if we're lucky.
That's great. So Taste of IREDELL is the big fall fundraiser for 2023. And up to 50% is going to be given to the Bridge Academy, as previously discussed with Blake Blakely from the Y. And, it's really a pleasure to partner with the Y to raise funds for such an important program. So the Taste of IREDELL is going to be held at the Grand Old Lady.
It is going to be held at the Grand Old Lady. We're going to show her off. We're going to put our best hat on, which will be finished by then, and show off the Grand Old Lady. It's going to be an indoor-outdoor event. with lots of food, fun, and music, mingling, just a grand old time at the Grand Old Lady.
So it's going to be Saturday, October 7th. Put that on your calendar, y'all. 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the clubhouse. You know, we've partnered with Mitchell a lot, Mitchell Community College, and they're going to provide the use of their parking lot, which is just a few steps away, which is great. And that enables us to use our rear parking area to tent and have lights and music, and it's really going to be a fun evening. It's just $50 a person, which once we start talking about the food and all of the fun, you're going to realize that's a pretty good deal. Also benefiting such an important fundraising project such as the Bridge Academy. You know, get that on your calendar now, folks. And it's also, I thought, it's a perfect date night or a girls' night out. So, ladies, get the girl posse together and just make sure you get your tickets. So, Dana, we're going to have 14 area restaurants and catering companies.
14 that will involve either restaurants from the Iredell County area, caterers. We've got 2 coffee shops, one from here in Statesville, one from Troutman, and did I forget anybody? Catering, restaurants, and coffee shops.
Yeah, great.
And there are going to be a total of 14 altogether.
Right, so it's kind of going to be a festival feeling. They're all, the large event space is going to be primarily all of the food vendors. And then we're also going to have some signature coffee, right? And we're going to have appetizers to entrees, savory, sweet. It's going to be quite a lot of delicious food, and we even have desserts. So the ticket price also includes what?
One beverage, alcoholic,
one adult beverage,
if you prefer.
Sure.
You do not have to have an alcoholic beverage. This is, however, I would like to point out, an adult-only event.
Yes, well, that's important.
That we do need to make sure that that's clear.
That's why it's date night.
Right. Or girls' night.
Or girls' night. You know, the girls get kind of crazy sometimes.
That's right, they can.
So it's going to include a beer, wine, or a spiked coffee beverage, courtesy Southern Distillery. They're going to give us some sort of yummy, creamy something that you put in the coffee.
I think it's called Double Shot.
Double Shot, yeah.
And it basically makes kind of like isn't it Irish whiskey, what that's called?
Yeah, like an Irish coffee.
Yeah.
So, and if you are more thirsty for another adult beverage, bring some cash because we have a cash bar. Speaking of cash, we are also doing a raffle. Oh my goodness. So, but let's talk about the food sponsors next.
Well, like you said, we have 14, and I am going to just read them off of my list.
All right.
220 Cafe, the Boxcar Grill and Catering, Gatherings Catering and Event Center, Christy Smyer Catering, Red Buffalo Brewery is helping out, Southern Distilling Company, the Vanilla Bean Bakery and Coffee is one of our coffee sponsors. Wine Maestro has donated some wine. Your Coffee Place in Troutman has also donated coffee. They have donating a signature coffee drink that involves pumpkin.
Pumpkin, just in time for fall.
Yes. Andrea's Ice Cream and Sweet Shop, Fresh Chef Kitchen, JD's Market and Deli, Mi Pueblo Mexican Grill. Got some good Mexican. One of the things that another Mexican restaurant is in Mooresville, and it is Rio 150 Mexican restaurant. Sharp's Cafe on Crawford, the Greenbrier Grill, and the Wing Pickup.
Nice.
Now, doesn't that sound like a good time?
Y'all better come hungry is all I have to say.
Very
I'm
hungry.
serious. So it's right at dinner time, and thank goodness 6 to 9. If you're a late eater, that'll be fine as well. So, yeah. So speaking of cash and the cash bar, bring cash also because we're going to be raffling off a spirits cooler. And that is going to feature top shelf spirits in a cooler. So it's pretty nice. You can buy one ticket for $5. You can buy $20 worth of tickets for, $5 each, 20 for $5, and 35 for $10. You don't need to be present to win, and the drawing's going to be held that night.
Right.
So all of this really, you can get your tickets, you can get your raffle tickets online by way of our website. So you just go to statesvillewomensclub.org. It's so simple, and you can purchase that online.
And make sure you put in .org.
.org, right.
Not .com.
Right.
.org.
And if you happen to be downtown on the 15th for Art Crawl, we're also going to have a table, and you can just come by and chat with us and buy a ticket right there. If you want a paper ticket, that would be fine.
We will have paper tickets
and
available.
Raffle tickets.
And raffle tickets that night.
Yes, ma'am.
And the picture that you saw of the cooler was a sample of what it might look like.
Right.
That is not the exact cooler or the exact alcohol, spirits that will be in there.
Our cooler's going to be cooler.
That much cooler.
Much cooler.
Much cooler.
Y'all. Okay, so then we also want to do a special thanks to all of our sponsors. We've got silver sponsors. Dana, you want to talk about that?
Sure. Our silver sponsors donated $1,000 to the event. And they are Denso Marketing of North Carolina. Manufacturing, sorry. I can't see. I should look at my paper. IREDELL Health System and Lake Norman Realty. And this is not a new sponsorship for IREDELL Health or Lake Norman. They have sponsored before, Lake Norman Realty. And Denso actually has also sponsored before, so all three of them are repeat sponsors.
That is great.
And then we have bronze sponsors, and so that I don't mess this up, I am going to look at my piece of paper.
Okay.
Because I will get tongue twisted. Okay, so our bronze sponsors, they donated $500, and they include Alarm South, which is also a repeat sponsor, Black Automotive Group, which is a new sponsor, Blue Harbor Bank, another repeat, Bunch Johnson Funeral Homes, I got it right this time, Carolina Rehab, they're both new sponsors, and I always say this incorrectly.
Doosan.
Thank you. Doosan Bobcat. They are a new sponsor, and their sponsorship is going directly to the Bridge Academy.
Excellent.
Directly to the Bridge Academy. Duke Energy and Sherwin-Williams, both new sponsors.
That's great.
And then we have a few patron sponsors. John Packman Dentistry, who also donated last year.
Nice.
Statesville Brick Company donated, not as a sponsor, but they donated last year. Walker Insurance has been consistently sponsoring. Shred South. I told you I'd get tongue twisted. You'd say that 10 times fast. They are new, and Cheryl Barr is an individual who has wanted to make a contribution, and she is sponsoring. Then we have two special thanks. Wine Maestro has donated some of the wine for the
Nice.
evening,
Thank you.
and we really appreciate that. And we have something really cool this year.
Exciting.
This is so exciting. You talk about moving into the technology age.
I know it.
Lamar Advertising is going to put up at least one, if not more, depending on availability, of their digital billboards heading from 21. There's one on 21 across from the Chick-fil-A is the one I think that they are using.
In Statesville.
In Statesville. And then up 77, exit 42, there's a digital billboard. And then up there where Costco is in Mooresville.
Nice.
So those of you that are in Mooresville, don't think this is just a Statesville event.
No.
We welcome you
Right.
to come join us
And-
at this event.
And this is Taste of IREDELL. So
Right.
it's not Taste of Statesville. It is Taste of IREDELL.
Correct.
And yeah, that's going to be fantastic. So once again, purchasing tickets is easy. You just go to our website, statesvillewomensclub.org, and click on the Taste of IREDELL tab. So, wow. We also have other opportunities coming up at the end of this month. I wanted to give a plug for
Yes.
that. We've got the Women Making a Difference. Join us. Sign up to volunteer. Once again, you can go to statesvillewomensclub.org and reach out on the contact page. If you want to join us, we are going to feed up to 300 people. What? Are you kidding me?
Are we crazy?
Yeah, right. No, we're blessed.
We are
we are
blessed.
partnering with Yoke Fellow Ministry. They are super excited. It's going to be from 11 to 1 p.m., the actual serving. So if you want to volunteer, we probably are going to ask you to be there at 10. And if you want to come in later, probably be there till 2. But anyways, we're going to be serving the community, and it's called Takeout Hunger Day because we are providing a takeout box literally filled with food. Because think about it, we heard from Blake, and she's talking about homeless and talk about food insecurity. That is the focus of our National Day of Service, our initiative that we have this year, starting for the very first time. And what a great way to make a difference. And, nothing says love than a full belly. And as a mom growing up, that's how I loved on my son. And he's finally slimmed down. And he's 22.
And you are so good at sharing the love with your food.
But anyway, so yeah, I mean, hunger is a really big, real scary thing.
It is.
And I really appreciate the GFWC for coming up with this National Day of Service initiative and the focus on food insecurity this year. And I look forward to serving a lot of people and just seeing a lot of smiles.
I think it's going to be another fun event. We are trying to get music for this as well. Tommy Simmons is the executive director of Yoke Fellows, and he wants this to be just a big party.
Yeah, that'll be great. So if you have a grill and you want to carry it down there and burn some burgers and hot dogs with Tommy and the guys, we welcome your participation. If you're if you want to just put the takeout boxes together and hand them out, that'll be great. We have a lot of community participation. We've got the Girl Scouts. We've got
Don't we have Boy Scouts too?
we have some Boy Scouts, I think, that are participating, and we've got the hamburger.
Beaver Farm
is-
donated 50 pounds of hamburger
That's
meat.
big.
That's
And-
a lot.
And Sheets has participated in the hot dogs.
Yes, they donated 250 hot dogs.
Right.
And Sam's has given us a gift certificate. So that will make up the difference from what Beaver Farm did not donate
Right.
to what we need to finish out the at least
Right.
300
Right.
hamburgers.
We still do need the buns. So if anyone out there wants to donate some funds, earmark some funds for the hot dog and hamburger buns, that would be awesome. My favorite word. And and we also have the water covered. We have chips covered. We have cookies covered. Wow. It just makes us really realize again, like Blake said earlier, how important it is for the community to partner together.
to come together as a community.
Right, right.
Yes.
So, anyways, well, it's been another great episode, and thank you so much, Dana, and thank you for all of the interview folks that came today.
Yes.
And look forward to the next one.
It's going to be great. And thank you, Shelley.
You've been listening to A Servant's Heart, sponsored by the Statesville Women's Club. We are located at 515 West End Avenue, Statesville. To contact us, you can email us at statesvillewomansclub@gmail.com or call 704-761-8208. Our website is statesvillewomansclub.org. Remember, that's Statesville Women's Club with an A.org.